Hello, my name is Patrick Ng. I'm a founder director of Strata P&A and Architectural Practice and OYOB, a property development company. Over the last 25 years, I've consulted to a variety of clients, including government, building perhaps in excess of 50 facilities for Victoria Police, the CFA, schools, government departments, emergency services, and a host of private developers. I've been a registered architect for 35 years now, and I've got a particular interest in property development. In November 2018, Credit Suisse reported that the median wealth of Australians was the highest in the world, at $191,000 US, compared to a world average of $4,210 US. We are well and truly ahead of the pack. We're there amongst nations like Switzerland, Netherlands, Norway as some of the richest people in the world. 60% of our wealth is in non-financial assets, mainly in property. Why do we have such an obsession with property? In Australia, property ownership is a key icon, Australian icon. Home ownership in Australia is a key cultural icon. It is part of the tradition of the great Australian dream to own your own home. And this is partly facilitated and encouraged by government by various grants, offsets, tax offsets, and of course the homeowner is not subject to capital gains tax. Of course, there is a social aspect to this. Government encourages home ownership because they promote responsible citizenry. In 2008, a document called Melbourne 2030 was released to the public. Essentially, it saw Melbourne growing to a population of 4.5 million people in the year 2030. That was quickly revised after 5 years, superseded by a document called Melbourne at 5 million. Because the population was growing way too quickly. So they were predicting that Melbourne would grow to a population of 5 million in 2030. And guess what? Last year, we attained 5 million people in Melbourne, 12 years ahead of the population growth target. And of course, Melbourne 2030 and Melbourne at 5 million was part of the planning framework document to try to accommodate this population growth. Unprecedented population growth, mind you, in Melbourne. By 2030, which was attained last year. Why is our population growing so quickly? Is it because we are a stable environment? We've got good land? Because we've got a rich economy? Because we are a safe democracy? And perhaps all of the above. The UN Human Development Index that measures life expectancy, quality of life, and relative real income has us as number 3 in the world, next to Norway and Switzerland, as the 3 most livable countries in the world. And that's part of the reason why Australia is such a desirable nation to be. Is there an end to this population growth in Melbourne? I don't think so. There's another $100 billion that has been committed towards infrastructure spending in Australia. And this is really to catch up with this huge unprecedented population growth in Australia. To give you an example, in 2008, over the global financial crisis, a total of $16.8 billion was spent to soften the effect of the GFC. And it did a remarkable job. There was so much money pumped into the economy. Now we are talking about $100 billion spent and yet to come that's committed to Australia. The population is certainly not going to abate. Property growth is certainly not going to change. How do we capitalize on it? Is it over, or are there many other opportunities that we can all get into? At OYOB, we subscribe to a practice which we call collaborative investing or collaborative property development, in which together we can do a lot more. And also together we share the risk and we ride the upside as well as the downside. Are there opportunities in both up cycles and down cycles? Of course. As a general rule, we look for growth in the up cycle, and we look for income in the down cycle. There are certainly many opportunities available to us all if you know where to look. In our next video, we'll talk a little bit about latent values, where to and how to identify them, how to uncover the latent values, and how to exploit the values that are inherent in every piece of land, whether you're in the up market cycle or down market cycle. So stay with us and watch out for the next video. Thank you very much.